Alright, so we're just going to move right in. And so we have the teams are Admiral Ackbar versus ADEZ. And ADEZ are actually bringing us to Brax's Holdout, which means Admiral Ackbar has first pick, first ban. So, right off the bat, they're showing they want to ban the Sylvanas. I mean, she can be scary on this map if you end up winning the beacons and you're able to push with her. Okay, there's show Rexar, so never mind. I mean, Sylvana's still good on the map. I've mentioned it before, if you've watched me before, that she kind of has this trick about, like, yeah, she's super powerful when you win, but she doesn't help you win the shrine. That's the problem. Like, her damage is pretty negligible to most healers nowadays. She's really only there as the pusher when you do win. But doesn't matter. Admiral Ackbar decides to ban out Rexar, getting rid of one of the top solo laners. Yeah, he's not super high up there, but he's a solo laner that might be painful to deal with if you don't know how. I think Dahaka can deal with him pretty well. Alarak can really deal with him, and so can Thrall. Like, a lot of times the heroes will probably get pushed out by Rexar. They'll like, it's a different way. Like, you can lose the lane in the sense that your towers are using their shots, but you can win the lane in the fact that you're probably going to bully him out. Like, Thrall will slowly lose towers, or like take tower damage, but he'll be able to eventually kill Rexar with this constant poke. But either way, so they didn't want to deal with him. They didn't want to pick him, get him off the map. And ADEZ actually decides to go with the Ragnaros ban. It's always a solid ban. It's always a solid first pick because he basically fits in every team comp. He has sustained damage, he has self-healing, he has Molten Core on this map. It's just strong solo laner. So they've already limited the solo lane pools already with these two picks, with these two bans. So you might see the teams moving into a prioritizing of their solo laner. First pick in ETC, solid tank. Like I said before, pretty much can do everything. Fits in every comp. He has good peel with his knockback, has good stuns, follow-up, self-sustain. Just definitely one of the top tanks right now. But ADEZ seems like they know the meta of this map in first picking Zarya. I wonder if they're going to pick the Gul'dan here as well. The Gul'dan Zarya is a scary combo on this map. They actually go with the Tassadar. Now, this is the redone Tassadar ×2, where his level 1 quest talent for the orbs got changed. I don't want to say nerfed because I don't think it was a nerf. They reduced the count of the orbs and increased the potency of the shield by doing it. They took out the long duration of it, but that's not that big of a deal. Like, the potency of a shield is actually a really big deal, especially in like a time of like a blow up meta. So it can really allow your person to and like increasing the duration with a stronger shield. It's basically like a second health bar, so it's kind of ridiculous. I honestly think they didn't really nerf it. They kind of made it stronger, especially on this map where if you control that lane, you can get a lot of globes. We might see him go in. They might still go into the Gul'dan, but they might see him go into like the Vala, can really, or a Zul'jin. And they're actually picking Varian. I wonder if we're gonna see Colossus Smash Varian. If you guys keep up with the patches, obviously Taunt Varian got nerfed. Oh, I guess not fully nerfed yet in the PTR, but he did lose the stun on Warbringer, which is a really big deal. That allowed for a lot of his lockdown potential, and basically a 2.25 second stun now got reduced to a 1 second stun. So that's a pretty big deal. And they did increase his, I believe, his auto attack damage or his Colossus Smash debuff amount from 75 to 100. So he now does a lot more burst if you have follow up. And picking up the Lucio. So I mean, they could easily. Lucio, I think, is a great choice here. I think he's a stronger healer than Mouth, only in the fact that of his healing throughput. He doesn't provide as much utility, and in his own right. I mean, Mouth provides the root, obviously, and vision with Scattering Drone, but Lucio provides speed, getting in and get out, which can help Baron, who has no escape. Plus shield barrier, that's always good. The only problem is he doesn't have a cleanse. But I mean, he doesn't need a cleanse right now because Zarya and Tassadar are two people. You know, so far they're showing that they're not really going to stun comp. ADEZ, I'm actually surprised they decided to ban the Gul'dan. They have the next two picks. You know, they could have very easily just picked Gul'dan. Like I said before, Gul'dan Zarya is just super scary. Gul'dan was such wave clear, and they both have self-sustain, like ridiculous self-sustain. Like Zarya doesn't really have good self-sustain, but he can self-sustain herself and the rest of the team to make it easier on your healer. I wonder if they're going to pick up the next one, which is another big one, is like, especially because they do picks, like they could have easily picked Medic Gul'dan, and I guess Tassadar doesn't go with Gul'dan that much, but they could have picked Medic Vala. So yeah, like they could Vala here. So I guess that's why they banned Gul'dan. I could see that now. If they wanted to go with the Vala because of the Tassadar, I see that makes a lot more sense. They just, I mean, I guess I wasn't really expecting them to value the Tassadar so high. Like you could have picked Zarya, Tassadar, and then Medic, and then something else, and you would have had just an unkillable comp, in my opinion. Because like with Zarya shields and Medic, anyways, I don't want to keep going into it, but they end up going with the Malfurion. Basically, you know, these are the healers that you normally see in most games. Lucio, Malfurion. I mean, you don't see Lucio too much on the HGC scene right now. Like in the Western Clash, we saw no Lucio. No, that's not right. True. I think we just saw him once or twice. And I didn't check his win rate, but we don't actually see him that often. I'm actually surprised. I think he's a very strong healer. I think mainly because they were in the older patch when Varian still had the stun, so you needed more cleanse. But either way, I think he's strong. I kind of glossed over the Sylvanas ban, but I already talked about it the first time when they were showing it, so I didn't think I was going to provide anything new information. So their next two picks here, they're going for the range. They could still go with a side healer. Like they could honestly still go. Oh, that's not true. They have to have a solo laner. So I'd like to see for range. They probably want a mage, either Jaina or KT. They still do Li Ming. Li Ming has good poke. They could do any of the mages, honestly. And their solo laner.
Ready to roll out.
Are they gonna go taunt Varian with this? Who's in the solo lane? Is Varian solo laning? That feels bad. I don't know if I like that. ADEZ now is looking for their solo laner. They have a strong four-man between Zarya, Vala. They're probably gonna look for a Dahaka. I would love to see a Dahaka right here. Just because that gives them another tank for more peel. Dahaka can create more debuff. They might be looking for more damage. I don't know. I think if they wanted to put a lot of their damage into the Vala and the Zarya, which is fine. I mean, Zarya's should have a lot of energy if they're gonna have an aggressive Vala. That means there are a lot of people who are gonna be poking the Vala, which means Zarya has an easy shield target to give her energy. So she should be doing a lot of damage with her infinite energy. So that is a good amount of damage right there. They go with the Sonya. Also a great pick. I didn't even think about Sonya, even though it's like my favorite hero. So Sonya, great solo laner, will beat anybody on the other team in the solo lane easily, just easily. And another person that gets enabled by the Tassadar. So I really like ADEZ's draft right now. I think they really thought it out on how they wanted to play it out. So that's the draft for game 1 of 1 on Braxis Holdout. Luckily this time I did not pick the Brawl. If anybody saw it last week, there was one game where, because we had that Braxis Outpost Brawl last week, which is the single lane, and I picked it for one of these tournament modes because they both say Braxis, and that's all I looked at. I didn't even think about the Brawl. And once we finished the load and it had everybody had selected their heroes, it's like, oh my god. But luckily I didn't have that option this time because they took the Brawl out. But nobody's got Portrait Synergy, so it feels bad, man. It's hard to vote with no Portrait Synergies. It's a long lost art to have Portrait and Mount Synergies, honestly. It needs to be brought back. Yeah, so right now I think my initial predictions is for ADEZ. I like their comp a lot better. Admiral Ackbar's comp is, it has definitely its potential. You can see where they're going for, but we'll have to see how it plays out. I think they're probably gonna go taunt now since they see the other team. But anyways, Braxis holdout, Admiral Ackbar on the left. We got Hidalgo on the Lucio, Shoop da Doob on Sergeant Hammer, Iron Bank on ETC, Hypo Crazy on the KT, and Danger Satch on Varian. On the right side, we got ADEZ, we got Dr. Frost on the Zarya, IT on the Vala, Exo on the Malfurion, Grush Diva on the Tassadar, and Scaly Manfish on... Haven't I casted him before? Scaly Manfish on the Sonya. Anyways, right now, actually, going against the normal deal of a 4-1, usually the 4-man you always see on the bottom lane, and maybe they know that, so they're hoping that they can pass on the rotation, mess up the rotation here a little bit, and give a free tower. It's going to be working for this first time. They are going to take the time to rotate up here. I guess they didn't think that they'd be able to race the fort to fort if they wanted to, but they do get a free tower out of that, and that does help any future pushes, especially if the minion wave happens to be this lane. They kind of messed up a little bit. Sonya went up there with them as opposed to Tassadar, when Sonya wanted to be the one to sit in the solo lane. But it doesn't matter. Like I said, we'll see the aggressive Vala and the aggressive Zarya to give the shields. Because basically, like, it's like free shields anytime they want. Vala can sit in hammer range, and they're probably going to sit shields. And like I said before, I mean, this Sonya, she's gonna bully Varian out of lane completely. And if she wants to be really good, she should not clear these lanes. Like, when you beat somebody in lane, you don't have to push into the towers, honestly, unless you're really, really gonna win. But if you just not kill the minions at all and just force them out right here where they can't engage and they miss soak, then like, you let your minions go out here, let them die a little bit, and then force them out. And you actually make them lose soak, which is a way bigger deal in the early game. But then again, you can also just always go for the kill. So we're seeing the damage coming out. Zarya already has a pretty 33/4 of the shield. And Vala is actually going a little too far out. She actually went way too far, but gets out because... Oh my gosh, no way. What hit her? I wasn't paying attention. But... Ooh, shoot, wrong one. I'm good at this. What is happening? There we go. Okay, my bad. So, Sonya having no problem with taking bottom. Lucio's actually going to come down to help, which is going to force Admiral Ackbar kind of to back up a little bit. They do have level 4 on them. That's by a good sizable lead. They have about half a level. ETC's coming in for the push. No stun follow-up from the KT. But Vala is here now. That's the button I was trying to hit. Trying to show some talents. Switch to Ollie's Observer, which is always really good because it kind of changes the setup a little bit, and so that way you guys can see the actual quest talents. This will obviously change once on the new PTR when Blizzard changes their stuff. But with the 2 people down south, Sonya's probably not going to take that shrine anytime soon, but allows ADEZ to easily push onto the top lane. So, I mean, with Zarya going the Q build, she's going to easily be able to poke the hammer and the KT, taking a lot of damage from between the Vala and the Zarya. They'll probably want to, talk a little bit more on their, when Zarya has her shields. That way Vala can go into the hammer range and get energy for her. Make sure they're not lacing too much. A little bit of tower shots being taken, but not too big of a deal. Having the 3-man top, I mean, Zarya's going to have a lot more siege potential. KT getting a little farther out, get kind of zoned. They don't want to go out too far. He's almost about... Oh my gosh, Hypo Crazy, so close to dying. That would have sucked. That would have been a big 1/3 of a reset on her stacks. But with Sonya, with Lucio coming back top, Sonya has an easy time bottom lane. Living Bomb explosion killed her. Yeah, it looked like she had enough health to survive Living Bomb. That was up to me. Sonya, Sonya could actually almost... Okay, with the rotation down here, this is fine. Because Sonya could actually kill KT, honestly. He's so low. And seeing... I mean, they haven't seen everybody. They know that there's at least one person that went bottom. And this rotation out of Admiral Ackbar is actually costing them a lot because they do not have... Hammer rotates so slow. It's costing them a lot of time. Like, I mean, Varian cannot take bottom lane at all. And having that non-solo laner is hurting them. But we now see all 5 members up here. This is going to allow them to get. Bavarian dies right away. Pays for rotation up there. Already at so low of a health. Lucio does take a while to heal everybody. And that's going to give a 100 Zerg to ADEZ. Hammer positioning a little too far up, gets rooted. Not too much damage they're able to go onto him yet. Vala was focusing on the ETC. Zarya doesn't have much energy, so she's going to be trying to time out her. Bubbles almost takes down to a third of the health, and there goes the Tesla shield to be able to keep her back up. But ETC, Vala wants it, and she gets it with the vault. So Zarya, I mean, she's not really keeping up her energy too much right now. I mean, Vala's taking a lot of damage, so she should easily be getting shields from Zarya. Varian. Sonya must have been taking some tower shots there. There's no way they should have gotten that low. Varian doesn't have the stun anymore. He just, I mean, obviously does still go Juggernaut. I'm actually, this looks like we're seeing, I can't tell. That's weird. I think you would still get Shield Wall. I don't think the reduced cooldown is enough. Just because Shield Wall basically makes you unkillable. But right now, I can't really tell if the Varian's going tank or Colossus Smash. I could see both, honestly. That it's not really an optimal build for either. Honestly, I think the optimal build is always parry quest on all 3, even if you go taunt, even if you go Colossus Smash. I think you still go parry on all 3 of them. But we'll see what she picks. There's another full level ahead for ADEZ. Oh, Hammer, they're looking for the gank here. They don't really have too much lockdown. I think they showed right there. So Hammer's going to walk away. But Vala's like, I have Tassadar shields and Zarya shields. So I can do whatever I want. Meanwhile, Sonya was getting bullied out of bot lane. For quests, we see a completed Q build for Zarya. So she's going to have particle grenades all the time for the Hammer. KT's almost 2/3. Variant is obviously halfway. Other than that, we don't see too much difference in builds that we would typically see. But a little bit of a scuffle here, trying to invade the other team fight, knowing that they're almost. But I mean, I would like them to see just if Sonya stayed bottom there and got 10. Vala gets paid with her life to try to scout out that bush a little bit. If Sonya stayed here, they easily would have gotten 10, and that probably would have been a different fight. I think they took that expecting, hey, we're almost 10, we're almost 10, we're almost 10, we can fight this. Because if they had 10 before that, Zarya could have easily expulsion zoned right there, and I think that would have been a different story. They are 10 now, and so they still did get the Merc wave, or the Mercs, and they're just gonna continue to poke. Vala's gonna have to come back. No energy on Zarya right now. See, typical ultimate, but we have Leap gonna jump on that Hammer. She's like, Hammer is gonna be on the target for it, and I missed this skill down here because I'm bad at my job. With the Tassadar and the Sonya. Tassadar did go Archon. They did not have to use it yet.
Control of those beacons. We don't want to face angry Zerg.
And are they gonna? I mean, they're rotating down here to try to get a keep. It's not going to be too scary. Both of them should be able to just run away from this. Sonya has not enough lockdown. And with the 4-man rotation, they're just going to take the bottom shrine while Admiral Ackbar has top. We do see Taunt Varian and Mosh Pit. I mean, that's a good point. There's actually there's only 2 interrupts for Mosh. So if they are able to hit Sonya and Tassadar, I mean, I guess Zarya could do it too. Ooh, missed this KT stun, so Sonya is going to be able to spin to win and walk away from that. Or spin away from that, rather. And that is Archon down, though, so I think that was a win. Archon was kind of prematurely hit there. It doesn't really provide any type of heal. Zarya's stands right into the point with her shields. Huge. Oh, too many people are dying too quick. I can't call it out. But the Emerald win, Twilight Dream from off here and hitting 3 members with the Sonya leap right onto the Hammer. Allowing them to get 2 kills instantly, and this is going to be should be another 100 Zerg wave for 100 Zerg wave for ADEZ. But with that, they actually don't even need to be on the point right now, just because they don't care. I mean, see, if he had shield wall there, if he just got 3 parries during all that. If he had shield wall, he would have taken literally no damage. Zarya Not able to get a follow-up stun with the KT stun. ETC kind of went the other direction. And I like how they rotated down here, and this is the same lane that they already have their Zerg wave pushing in. So they're going to have a 100 Zerg wave with all 5 members down here. A full Zarya that's able to just poke for days. Every time Hammer. What an expulsion zone. That is perfect right behind the Hammer. But Zarya's going to pay for it. But I think that's kind of worth. They still have a Sonya that can spin to win for victory. Mosh Pit hitting only 1 member, and Sonya's able to get the spear to peel. Baited out the shield barrier from the Lucio. And the first keep going down 10 minutes. It's pretty good. There's still 3 of these Guardians pushing. So another leap hitting 3 members coming down. She could easily kill this KT there. The slam damage just does so much, especially with the follow-up from Vala. I mean, the Tassadar is just enabling them to do whatever they want. Tassadar's... Oh, he didn't even go. I don't, like... Honestly, I don't really know why people are still going Storm. I honestly think low build is still stronger. Like, we could look at his damage. We can't because I don't know. I shouldn't hit shift.
I will not underestimate them.
But, that's the button. So, like, I mean, look at Tassadar's damage. It's got about half that of Zarya. I mean... I don't know. I don't think damage Tassadar is ever going to be a thing. But they are level 13. I mean, smartly Admiral Ackbar cannot catch up on this. It's very pressurable. I mean, we see nullification, basically shrink ray. Pain is temporary. Wow, so she wants an extra shield, basically for any type of burst. So Zarya is looking to dive in there, be the main, like be a real main tank in there, and soak as much damage as possible. If she soaks all the cooldowns between KT and Hammer and Varian and lives, then they can just turn around and be super aggressive. Right now, Admiral Ackbar is basically just going to rotate around to try to get their 13 talents. Meanwhile, ADEZ is just going to paint the map red. Both teams being pretty passive. If they go, Expulsion Zone would have been sick there. But it's hard to see. Zarya's just trying to get some energy damage, and she's got full shields. Now all of her demolitions experts. Basically, Hammer can't siege at this point, because anytime she sieges with a Zarya just dropping bombs on them and the Sonya leap. Yeah, Mecha Strats, and I pretty much agree at this point. They are showing complete dominance on the map.
Looks like the beacons are reactivating.
A 2-level lead so far with the next beacon shrine, and it's looking grim for Admiral Ackbar. I mean, they're gonna have to get some good picks with the lockdown between ETC, Varian, and KT.
There, the beacons, capture them.
So we're gonna get a fight here. This is the fight that the only fight that they'll be able to take right before 16 gets taken. If they can get a good setup from Hammer. So try to make sure that they're all not split for the Zarya. Spear gets missed. Looking for the Zarya, but I think they're out of Hammer range, so Hammer's not actually able to participate at all in this team fight. And what an expulsion zone, hitting 3 members out, separating the KT. There is a mosh pit, but they don't even care because Sonya was on the other side of it. And that is 2 for nothing with that expulsion zone. It's been on point. And I mean, that was a great show of the team fight. I mean, once all 3 of them were on the shrine, they were just like, okay, I'm just gonna separate you guys. There's so many good choke points on the shrine fights, and it's one of the reasons why Zarya is so strong on this. Sonya's going to take the shrine. Will give them another 100 Zerg wave, and that damage from Vala, holy cow. Sonya with a nice good cleanse to come back, but she's just staying on there. They just want expulsion zone's already back up to get the Varian back out, and shield barrier coming out to save them. That's a great use of the shield barrier, but Hammer. Sonya just does not care. With the Zarya shields, Task shields, he is just staying in there. But Vala getting a little too aggressive, did not have the follow-up shields that Sonya did. Obviously, there's some favoritism on the Scaly Manfish versus the Vala. Leap coming out, right onto the Hammer. With the Zarya shield follow up, and it took no damage. They are level 16 on them, so they're just going to push to keep here. They got a full Zerg wave, and it's going to be pretty hard for them to fight on this. Nice. Emerald, Twilight Dream only hitting the ETC. Expulsion Zone keeping the hammer out. Zarya is just in there. She just wants it, but so is Sonya. I mean, everybody's so greedy for these kills, and Hammer gets away. Does not. And neither does Varian. And that spells the game. ADEZ with, honestly, a great draft. In my opinion, I think it was very hard, and we can look at the damage here. Zarya actually topped the damage for. I'll stay on this screen a little bit just to see the power of Zarya on this map. I don't know if you know it, guys, but she's pretty good on this map. So looking at the damage, yeah, Zarya beats everybody on the other team. She was, I mean, with 2 divers with the Tassadar and the Vala. Like, Tassadar enables Vala, so Vala stays out in front. So she's squishy, so everybody's like, turn on Vala. And Zarya's like, okay, I'll bubble you too. And then now Zarya has a full energy, and she can just lob grenades for days. But yeah, so you can see that damage there. It's kind of ridiculous. And Tassadar's, I don't know, it's just not worth it in my opinion to get the lightning. It's like you might as well be more sustained, because that's pretty much how you're building your team. Like, you had all the damage in Zarya. Tassadar didn't need to go damage at all. Yeah, so honestly, I think ADEZ pretty much won that in the draft. They had Admiral Ackbar had a great showing in the beginning with, you know, they had some, I guess, I think they had the first pick, honestly, and on the Vala, because they got aggressive. They were like kind of testing their boundaries. And but a lot of times the Varian and the ETC were diving onto the other team out of hammer range, and hammer literally couldn't do anything, and that was causing them a couple of the team fights, because, you know, I mean, a lot of times when you have a hammer comp, like the other times we've seen a hammer comp work on this map is when you have non-divey tanks. Like, it's with Joanna. You can use a Varian to keep them locked down once they are in hammer range, but basically you're baiting them in. Like, I mean, people have been talking about it in chat while we've been doing this game, but yeah, Mecha Streisand pretty much, you know, hit the nail on the head. A lot of times with hammer, hammer needs to be in range of hitting everybody, like hitting the edge of the shrine if they need to, and then you know, once they come into hammer range, then you lock them down. Then Joanna comes in there with Blessed Shield and locked, or ETC comes in with the stun, and the Variant comes in with the stun, the KT comes with the stun, and then they kill that person. But so, you know, they definitely could have done stuff differently to get themselves in a better position. But honestly, it was a tough sell. I mean, bottom lane, the solo lane was getting destroyed by Sonya, but either way, you know, I like their idea. They're probably trying something different, and, you know, testing it out. And so we'll see. Hopefully they can, you know, learn and, you know, see how they do next week and improve. But congratulations to ADEZ on their very good victory. I mean, I love Sonya, I love Leap, and I like the comp with the Tassadar to enable and the Tassadar and the Zarya to enable the aggressiveness. It worked out well. So, anyways, there's a delay. Yep. So that's gonna be it for only the one game tonight. I only have one game tomorrow as well, but it is a best of 3. So I think it usually takes an hour and a half. So I only wanted to limit myself to one. Anyways, but thanks for joining me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cast, enjoyed the game, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. But so that's going to be it for me. And I forgot to start recording, so it's going to take me a little bit to upload this to YouTube, but you can also follow me on YouTube. I try to put all my Chair League games on YouTube, so that way it stays there permanently if you guys want to watch it. But that's going to be it. Thanks. I'm going to try to transfer you to another Chair League person if there are any others going on. Thanks, guys.